Hello everyone, this is Venom, and we are back with a video series that I'm going to be completely honest with you, I forgot all about. I'm here with another Starfield video. This is a Starfield update, and holy shit, I actually forgot we were even doing a mod series about this game, and that kind of tells you what the state of the game is right there. I think I, like a lot of players, were into the game when it first came out. I know I definitely was because I had to do a mod series on it. I wanted to keep doing the mod series on it. I was constantly looking for new mods and new ways to play the game. However, just one day, I literally just forgot that the game even existed. I mean, it's that damn bad. Now we're going to get into some mods here. I'm going to get into what the state of the modding scene looks like. I also want to get into some news because there's something else to consider. We're supposed to be having a DLC for the game as well. I haven't heard shit about the DLC recently. Now, there's some news going around here. Some grumblings that the DLC might be coming soon. I haven't seen anything official coming up for this thing. I think we still know it's going to be called Shattered Space, but there's nothing really out there. People are really kind of grasping. I think there have been some updates that kind of hint at some stuff, but let's get down to this. Let's get into what this DLC teaser, quote-unquote teaser, is here. This is from BNN. Now, they go through, like, all these fucking websites, do they? What is a damn game? What is a DLC? What is yada, 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 yada. So, long story short, let's see what it actually said. Here we go. When a screenshot from Starfield's SteamDB page surfaced on Reddit, it showed an enigmatic entry labeled SteamDB unknown app, yada yada. This update, while not explicitly mentioned, is believed by many to be related to the much-awaited Shattered Space. So basically, somebody got a screenshot of a page of some other page that has a file on it that they think might be for the DLC. That's where we're at with the DLC right now. Now, considering the state of AAA gaming the last few years, I would not be shocked at all if they have canceled or will cancel every DLC for Starfield. Or I would not be shocked if they put out Shattered Space and then cancel anything else coming out. Now, we're supposed to be getting the creation kit. That shouldn't be too hard for them to release, and we're going to get into a bit of why that matters here in a little bit, but I mean, there has been nothing for this. I haven't heard shit about people playing. I haven't heard anything about the DLCs. And keep in mind, we're supposed to be getting multiple DLCs. That's how Bethesda RPGs go. We get multiple DLCs. There has been nothing. Now, there is some speculation, and there are people wondering if they're trying to pull a Cyberpunk 2077, if they're trying to redo the game so that it's much better for players. I don't know what they can do for this to improve upon it. Now, again, if you don't remember or didn't know, Cyberpunk 2077 obviously released very poorly. It was like, I think they were waiting on this game for like a decade, like 15 years or some shit. I don't remember. It was like, I think the most anticipated game ever. And when it launched, while I did enjoy the game a lot, I love the story, and to this day, I can't look at the game without damn near crying. It released in a terrible, terrible condition. Now, I didn't have nearly as many bugs as other people did. I played on PC. However, I've seen just how terrible some of it can get. Now, they did improve the game a lot over the year and a half, I think 2 years since it was released. I gotta double check when it was released, and then Phantom Liberty came out and it improved a lot of the game. The game improved. It did a 180 and it was applauded by the community. That being said, I don't know how they could possibly do something like that with Starfield. The game fundamentally it's a Bethesda game, so first off, if you don't like the Bethesda formula, there's not much you can do about that one. I mean, Bethesda games they have a very specific formula. I've made videos about it before. You've got your main storyline. You will typically have, and this is for all Bethesda RPGs, so we're gonna, Starfield, the Fallout series, and the Elder Scrolls. You've got your main story. You've got different factions, so you're gonna have 2 to maybe 4 different faction quests. Some examples of that would be, let's take Skyrim, for example. You have, like, the werewolves, the champions, or the companions. You have the vampires. You have, I can't even remember what all of them are now. There weren't even that many factions. You have, like, the Thieves Guild. You have the, Assassin's Guild, the Black Hand. You have, those faction quests. And then you have a bunch of mini quests. Same thing with Fallout. You'd have, your main storyline. Then you can, join the freaking, I can't even remember, the Brotherhood of Steel, or you can join whatever other faction happens to be in the game at that time. And then for Starfield, of course, you've got your main factions. you've got a very set amount of big quests, and then you got a bunch of little quests. That's how all the games go, and that's pretty much it. Now, it used to be that these choices that you did, these factors that you worked with, it actually mattered. The problem is that Starfield's gimmick is that once you beat the game, you basically can start over in a new universe, which really is just kind of randomly generated as to what happened with the, what happens with the, I can't even remember what they're called now. That's how long it's been since I played the game. Constellation. What happens with the members of Constellation? All that's random. You can even run into a random universe where you are already in there, a version of you is already in there, and you can even recruit yourself as a companion. So that was a big gimmick, which made everything you did in the game useless, because it also took away your credits, your ships, all your bases, everything you've done except for your experience was gone. All the items you hunted down, all the armor you hunted down, the weapons, the ships you built. The ship you built 12, or it took, 12 hours, building to figure out the shipbuilder, and then spent the next week, slowly putting pieces on it, slowly over and over again, making sure that you built the dream ship you wanted to, that Millennium Falcon you built, that Death Star you somehow made, that mini Death Star, all of that out the window when you beat the game because you had New Game Plus, and that just starts you over in a new universe. That gimmick right there, as much as people don't want to admit how bad it was, fucked up the entire game. It fucked up all the long-term stuff that you would play Starfield for. It screwed up any need for having base building, because no one's going to invest in a bases, or is going to invest in a base if it's going to be wiped off the map. No one's going to invest in shipbuilding when you're going to lose your ship. No one's going to invest in even farming armor and weapons when you're going to lose all that. So that's a big thing there. Now, there was a system where you got, a certain set of armor and a new ship every time you restart it. It was not worth it. Neither was upgrading the powers either, by the way. That takes hours upon hours to do. It was not worth it. You're better off just cheating that stuff in there if you have console commands. So that was Starfield's whole big thing. I don't know that they can come back from that. I'm going to be completely honest. The game was fun the first time or two through. I think I went through twice. It was fun then, but now that I've done it, I'm over it. I've already gone through and I've done the faction quests. I don't know how to explain it, but the fact that you can start them over and do them again on the same characters somehow diminishes them. I don't want to play them again. They were huge quests. They did take a while. It's not like they were only a couple of missions. They probably could have been a little bit longer, but, they just did not feel like once I did them and I knew I could redo them again, they just, for some reason, they lost their luster. I think the same thing can be said about most of what's going on in the game. So that's the issue. So this DLC is going to have to do a lot to improve upon the game. It's going to have to do something about that idiotic losing all your items when you start over. They're going to have to give us something for that. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. If they don't, then I don't see the game recovering. As far as stuff to do in the game, I'm not even sure where I am in the game right now, but whenever the DLC comes out, assuming everything stays the way it is now, that means you can probably do the DLC over and over again. Now, if I were Bethesda, I would make the DLC some kind of system to where when we started over a universe, we kept our shit. Like, give us like a mothership or a station. Like, here would be my idea. Give us like a space station. Yeah, we could build up ourselves, kind of like a actual base. And again, there's no reason to have bases in the game either, because you have spaceships, but or whatever. Give us like a spaceship that we can like dock all our ships on, and then whenever we start over with a New Game Plus, it brings that station with us. And then stuff that we did from the previous universes would also carry over as well. Like, let's say I went through and I did the Crimson Fleet, and I had, a companion from the Crimson Fleet or some kind of bender from the Crimson Fleet. They would join my space station and then join me going to different universes. Same thing with like my love interest in the Constellation. If if I went to a different universe, that love interest would come with me on my space station, and we would go to different universes and then that would affect the game. That would be a little bit cooler, because then at least the stuff that I did would still make sense and would count. Let's say that if I went to universe, I could pack up my bases that are on planets, and then when I go to the next universe, I just automatically redeploy them. Something like that, I think would be awesome. Do I think we're going to get that? No. If they do implement anything to where we can get our stuff back or we can roll our items over, I don't think it's going to be nearly as cool or nearly as efficient as anything I can think of, to be honest with you. So, and I'm not saying that I'm some genius at game development. I'm just saying that anytime I can think of a simple solution, the game developers never use that simple solution whenever make people happy. It's always some really dumbass solution. But regardless, that is the state of the game right now. There has been no real updates. They have been updating stuff for the game, but it's basically been just, let me pull it up here. Where's my Starfield? It's basically been, matter of fact, there's another update out. It's just been like bug fixes and shit. There we go. Bug fixes. I mean, one of these is a big one that they put a whole thing out about lighting improvements. I mean, I don't fucking care about that. How are you improving my damn game? So, yeah, that's where we're at. I didn't even bother to update to the newest version of it because I haven't touched the game in a while. And like I said, I fully intended to, even if the series had died off or even if there weren't a ton of mods coming out, I fully intended to keep doing the mod series. With all the other games coming out, and with everything I've been doing with Destiny 2 and like Baldur's Gate, I haven't done the videos on it, but playing it for enjoyment, with everything I've had going on, I literally forgot that the game existed, and that's a game that I was kind of flagshipping my channel, kind of like my relaunch on. Although I am happy to say we have been growing. We're up to 241 subscribers, so we're almost up there, we're almost at 250, so help us get to 250. But, yeah, I was gonna have a long-term series doing mods, and I just forgot that the game existed. So that's bad. It's not that I didn't even want to play the game or didn't want to cover it. It's just I literally forgot about it. And that is when you know you're in trouble. If I think, let's say what, the opposite of love isn't hate, it's apathy or something like that. That's where the state of the game is right now. I don't hate the game, I just don't even think about it anymore. And that is a problem. I loved it when it first came out, but it's not a Skyrim. It's not a game that's gonna, even if they hadn't pumped Skyrim out, to 15 different consoles over 30 years, I mean, Skyrim was still a great game. This is not on the level of Skyrim. This is gonna be a forgotten game, to be honest, unless they pull something out of their ass. Now, I wanted to show you what the state of modding looked like, too. So I went through looking through here for any mods that were anything unique. Even though we haven't got the Creation Kit out, I was looking for anything unique that might have come out. And if you remember what the mods were looking like before, it is pretty much the exact same thing. Yeah, I mean, there are replacer weapons in here, there are skins, there's a bunch of translation things, there's some lighting things. I mean, there's nothing that's really, really game-changing in here. I mean, there are just container changes. I mean, a lot of this is just different spacesuits. Some of the stuff didn't even look like it fits in the game, but there's nothing really that's been really worth modding into the game. There's nothing really game-changing. Now, part of that is because, again, they just don't have much in there to mod. There's only so much you can do. And part of that, of course, is because we don't have the Creation Kit. But even without that, the game's been out for quite a while. We should have some more creative mods at this point. But people are also just not modding the game. That's bad. That is very bad. So that's what the state of Starfield modding is. Like you can see here, we got some cool stuff. Like here's the helmet armory. That Reaper looking, or skull looking helmet looks kind of cool. Show icon names, his hairstyles. I mean, it's all just different weapon and different armor mods. There's some presets. Like I said, most of the stuff is not anything. That kind of looks cool. But most of the stuff is just not really anything that's going to bring you back to the game if you're not playing it right now. I'll put it that way. Some of the stuff is cool. It'd be kind of fun to play this for a second or, a minute or two, maybe play through. But none of this is stuff that's going to bring you back to the game if you have left already. And that's not a good thing with modding. Again, it's not the modder's fault, but there's a lot of modders that just don't want to mod the game. I think famously, you guys might remember that the creators of Skyrim Together have basically come out and said, they're not going to mod the game. It's a terrible game. And yeah, that's where we're at right now. So right now, what we're looking for is a Hail Mary from Bethesda. There's a lot of companies right now we're looking at Hail Marys from. Bungie's got to do a Hail Mary for Final Shape if they want to keep their community and push past for the next 10 years of what they want to do with the game. They got to do a Hail Mary. On top of that, they've got to give us back the content that they've taken away from us. If they don't do that, the game is dead, or they're going to have to get a whole new player base. I mean, I'm going to probably keep playing it, but I'm not buying expansions or anything. I mean, I can hop on, I can do the old raids on my buddies, but unless they improve the new player experience, which does, whether they like it or not, mean they have to bring back all the old content, at the very least the campaign content, then people joining the game have no idea what the fuck is going on. I've never seen that in a game before, whether you get rid of all the old content, especially when it's story content, and you just drop players in the middle like, okay, hey, by the way, you're the chosen one. You're just this awesome character that can just do everything. That doesn't make any sense. It's retarded, but, yeah, so Bungie's in trouble. Right now, Bethesda's definitely in trouble. I know they're supposedly working on Elder Scrolls 6. I don't know how that's going to work out considering how everything's going with them right now and Starfield. Like I said, there's been no news about the DLC right now. People are basically just speculating. Now, this speculation might be valid too, by the way. Don't get me wrong. It might actually mean something, or it could just be horseshit. So we'll see how that goes. Past that, we did finally get an Elden Ring date for that DLC, so that's going to be a big one we're going to be covering here soon. So I do got to go back and finish that playthrough because I also forgot that I was playing Elden Ring. Not because the game was boring on that one, but because I had other games I was playing as well. So I've still got that file. We're still going to go through and finish playing on that. And then I'm going to start getting my main character ready for the DLC. So that one I cannot wait for. It's probably going to be hard as hell because that character is like new game plus 8 or some crazy shit. So I'm going to be going into the DLC on that character basically as hard as possible. The game's going to be as hard as possible at that point. We'll see if I can get through it. So, yeah, so that's going to do it for today, guys. Like I said, that is where we're at with Starfield mods right now. I mean, the modding scene is basically nowhere. Like I said, there is a lot of it's just a lot of random weapons, a lot of replacers, a lot of different armors. If that's enough for you to get back into the game, then go ahead and hop back in. There are plenty. Again, you're typically seeing a lot of like other video game stuff, other video game armors in here, like a lot of Halo stuff. Halo's probably the most stuff, or the most armor that I've seen here. There's a lot of Halo armors being brought in. So if that's your thing, if that's your jam, go ahead and hop in there. Past that, if you've been gone from Starfield for the last couple months and you're not really missing anything. There's nothing in here that's going to bring you back unless you're really into armors and weapons. If you beat the game already, you're pretty much set until the DLC comes out, and then we'll see what they add to the game. If they don't revolutionize this game, if they don't give us something that just breaks the mold in it, then there's nothing. I mean, there's nothing that's going to save it. So we may not even get the full suite of DLCs that we would normally get, and that's honestly where I think we're going to end up with this. I don't think they're going to keep pumping money into this, especially as bad as Bethesda's bottom line has been here recently, or at least as bad as much as the community is pissed off at them, and as little money as I think they're going to be making here soon, and as bad as these games have been, I don't think they're going to keep pumping money into this when they could be pumping money into other stuff that they think may make the money. I don't know. We'll see. I'm not an executive, but we'll find out what happens with that. But that's going to do it for me for today, guys. Like I said, this was just a quick one. I just completely forgot that we had stopped doing these Starfield mods, even though I wanted to do it as this long-term series, but it's a game that has just fallen off and literally fell out of my memory, so that's pretty bad. So that'll do it for today, guys. Thank y'all for coming by, and I will see you all later.